As I stood at the decaying gates of the dark allure of Greystone Asylum, my phone buzzed with an incoming call. I hesitated for a moment, the dread that had been steadily building in my stomach. With a trembling hand, I answered the call, and a voice that carried the weight of forgotten horrors echoed through the line, a voice that identified itself as Dr. Eleanor Blackwood, a former physician at the asylum. Her words were strained, laced with a palpable fear that chilled me to my core as she urgently warned me, "You must leave that place immediately, for there are forces within those walls that should never be awakened." Her cryptic message only fueled my determination to uncover the asylum's darkest secrets. But as an investigative journalist with a deep passion for uncovering paranormal truths, I couldn't resist the seduction of the asylum. I took a deep breath and pushed open the creaking double doors, feeling a shiver of trepidation. Inside, the air was stagnant, heavy with the scent of decay and abandonment. Dust motes danced in the dim light that filtered through the broken windows, casting eerie, shifting shadows. My footsteps echoed through the empty corridors as I ventured further into the abyss. The walls bore witness to the suffering that had transpired here. Faded photographs of patients, their eyes vacant and expressions haunted, lined the hallway. It was as though their spirits lingered, trapped within the very walls that had once imprisoned them. The oppressive silence interrupted only by the occasional distant creak or sigh of the building itself. As I explored deeper, I came across a series of deteriorating patient files that hinted at the asylum's unsettling history. Shock treatments, experimental procedures, and accounts of inhumane treatment filled the pages. It was a chilling revelation that the suffering within these walls had been systemic and unrelenting. But the most disturbing discovery awaited me in the basement. Rows of rusted iron gurneys lined the chamber, surrounded by discarded restraints and instruments of torment. The air grew colder, and a palpable sense of dread clung to me as I imagined the horrors that had unfolded here. In the dim light, I uncovered a journal, its pages yellowed with age. It belonged to a Dr. Samuel Hawthorne, a name that would come to haunt my every waking moment. Dr. Hawthorne's words told a tale of insatiable curiosity, of unethical experiments conducted in the name of science. It was within the pages of this journal that I first encountered the name Project Resurgence. Dr. Hawthorne's entries described it as an attempt to bridge the chasm between life and death, to communicate with the souls of the departed. I couldn't shake the feeling that this project held the key to the haunting of Greystone Asylum. My investigation continued, fueled by an insatiable need to uncover the truth. Days turned into weeks as I combed through dusty records and interviewed those who had once worked at the asylum. The deeper I delved, the more consumed I became by the dark history of Greystone. I started to experience vivid, disturbing dreams, nightmares filled with the tortured cries of the asylum's patients. Their voices echoed in my mind, demanding justice and retribution. I could feel their suffering as if it were my own, and I knew I had to unearth every hidden secret. My obsession with the asylum's legacy began to take its toll on my sanity. I became consumed by an unrelenting paranoia, convinced that the spirits of the patients were watching my every move. The asylum's presence clung to me like a shadow, infiltrating my thoughts and dreams. My once vibrant life became a bleak existence as I descended deeper into the abyss of the asylum's history. My friends and family watched in helpless dismay as I became a mere shadow of my former self, consumed by an insatiable need to unearth the asylum's darkest secrets. I couldn't bear to face their worried gazes, their pleas for me to abandon my perilous obsession. The line between my identity and the asylum's tormented history continued to blur, and the haunting echoes of the past became my constant companions, whispering tales of despair and suffering that reverberated in my very soul. It wasn't long before I found myself committed to a psychiatric hospital, mirroring the fate of the patients I had sought to uncover. The asylum's legacy had consumed me entirely, and my sanity had deteriorated to a breaking point. I was a prisoner of my own obsession, trapped within the very institution I had once investigated. As the days passed, I continued to experience the haunting echoes of Greystone. The tormented souls I had tried to set free now seemed to mock me from within my own mind. I had become a prisoner of my own making, ensnared by the legacy of the asylum, just as the patients before me.